What is up, everybody? My name is Mitchell Breuer, and I'm not even going to get into a full introduction because we have big time NASCAR news. Bubba Wallace will not, will not return to Richard Petty Motorsports in 2021. Probably the biggest silly season news we've had since Jimmy Johnson announced that he's retiring earlier this year or last year. This was a big move. I think a lot of people thought that he was going to be staying, but that is not the case. It was first reported this morning by The Athletic and was later confirmed by Richard Petty Motorsports, who had the following statement. Earlier this morning, Darrell Bubba Wallace Jr. informed Richard Petty Motorsports that he will not be returning for the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series season. We will complete the season with Wallace behind the wheel of the number 43 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. We look forward to the next chapter in the making for the iconic number 43. We'll announce our new driver in the near future. Bubba Wallace also issued a statement this morning. If I can pull it up, here we go. Issued a statement shortly thereafter saying this was not an easy decision. As I have nothing but the utmost respect for Richard Petty and his family, but I believe it's time for somebody else to take over the reins of the number 43. Thank you to the King and everyone at Richard Petty Motorsports for giving me the opportunity to start my Cup Series career. I've grown so much as a driver and as a person since joining them. We've got 9 more races together, and I hope we can finish the 2020 season on a high note. And he ended with his typical emoji. And yeah, this one kind of surprised some people because he was saying there was a lot of rumors going around saying that Richard Petty Motorsports was going to maybe align themselves with Joe Gibbs Racing. Maybe Michael Jordan was involved, although that was later denied. Maybe Denny Hamlin was involved, which he never really denied, but kind of just said, nah. But, and I don't think that rumor is fully dead, but if it is going to happen, it is going to be without Bubba Wallace. And to me, this kind of just tells me that he's got something better lined up because right now, Bubba Wallace is the most marketable free agent on the market. And, I mean, you could say what you will about anybody else. This guy is bringing more money than any other driver that's available right now. And honestly, I think any ride, I don't know how to say this. I think Bubba Wallace can pretty much go wherever he wants with the money that he has. Maybe I'm wrong with that. Maybe that's not the case at all. But it certainly seems like that's going to be the case. And I think it was ultimately going to boil down to Richard Petty Motorsports being, are they going to be competitive enough for him to win races? Is there a more competitive ride out there? Because I believe this decision was ultimately going to be Bubba's no matter what. And to me, this says that he's found something that he believes is going to be more competitive. And to me, this means that, and I think to most people, I think this kind of just means, okay, he's either going to go to he's not going back to Richard Petty Motorsports. He's either going to go to Chip Ganassi Racing, where he's been heavily linked, had some conversations, and has the McDonald's sponsorship as like a connector, if you will, or he's going to take his talents to Hendrick Motorsports, where, and I can see two situations with this. Either he goes to the 48 car and Ally sponsors him. I believe it was the head of PR voiced her support for Bubba Wallace a couple of months ago, so that would not surprise me. Although I think maybe more likely in the scenario that he does go to Hendrick Motorsports, it wouldn't surprise me if he went to the 88 or a different numbered car and brought all of his sponsors that he has signed over the last couple of months, the Columbias, the DoorDash, the Cash App, all of that, and then he brings that to the 4th Hendrick Motorsports car. Hendrick Motorsports grabs Alex Bowman, flops him in the Ally Chevrolet, and the rest is on from there. That is my opinion. And as for what happens to the 43, I don't know. This silly season has been really interesting because I feel like by this time of year, we have a good idea of what everybody is doing by this time. And that's not really the case right now. We don't know who's going to be driving the 42. We could heavily speculate that it could be Bubba Wallace, but that's not confirmed. We don't know who's going to be replacing Jimmy Johnson at Hendrick Motorsports. There hasn't even been anybody that's really been heavily linked to that ride, besides the fact Rick Hendrick came out and said that they're going to have 4 cars. There's a time that people thought maybe they're just going to shut down that car and they're only going to have 3 cars, but Hendrick has came out and confirmed that they're going to have 4 cars. No one has talked about who's going to land there, and I honestly don't know who it's going to be either. It's crazy, and now you have the 43 car, which I think a lot of people thought Bubba Wallace was going to come back. Now nobody knows what's going to happen there. It really wouldn't surprise me if Richard Petty Motorsports did move to Toyota. I think that's probably their best bet if they can secure that funding. If I'm not even sure if it's securing that funding, if they can just secure that move in general. And I think maybe without Bubba Wallace, that makes this move a little bit easier because maybe Toyota can bring in one of their Toyota developmental drivers, like a Brandon Jones, perhaps, who has a good amount of funding that could fund the 43 for the entire season. I don't think that moves that far out of the option. In fact, maybe this is a little bold claim from Mitchell, but I think that's probably one of the more likely scenarios for the 43. If I had to predict, I think something along those lines are going to happen. It's just super interesting to me. And like I said, this silly season just continues to be probably one of the most fascinating of all time, just because of so many unknowns. And then you got to even look at a little bit further down the list. What is a team like Spire Motorsports going to do? They're going to have 2 full-time cars next season. They've expressed interest in Ross Chastain and Justin Haley. Those 2 guys have shown that they have a lot of talent. Are they going to come up to the NASCAR Cup Series? Are they going to accept a ride with Spire, who, to their credit, looks like they're trying to build a future for themselves, but will not be the most competitive team? And I don't think that's unfair to say. What's going to happen with Storehouse Racing? We heard the report from Greg Zipadelli saying that he expects the same driver lineup, but we haven't heard the news that Clint Bowyer is for sure coming back, even though I tend to believe that's probably the most likely case in that scenario, but it's another unknown. And then you have the 2 big dogs of the Xfinity Series. You have Austin Cindric and Chase Briscoe, who they don't have solidified plans for next season. And I think it's very easy for those 2 guys to say, hey, look what we're doing in the Xfinity Series. Chase Briscoe, he's close to that 8-win goal where he said that would be enough, where he thinks that would push him into the Cup Series. Austin Cindric's out here leading the point standings and doing things that only Sam Ard has ever done in the series. Both of those guys look like they could be potentially moving up. Nowhere on their plans yet. And then the obvious elephant in the room would be Kyle Larson. What's he going to do? Is he going to come back? There's just so many unanswered questions when it comes to this silly season. And it's been fascinating. And I would love to get your guys' thoughts on that. Is this been one of the most fun free agencies to watch for you? Is it kind of bringing you back to the days where you really didn't know who was going to come? Even though I don't even know if that's really a thing. Like, I can even remember back in the day, even before social media, like Dale Earnhardt Jr., like I feel, I could be wrong. This could just be my memory being dumb. But it felt like that, like, everybody kind of knew that once he announced he wasn't going to DEI or coming back to DEI, it was either going to be Gibbs or Hendrick. But, like, for the most part, free agency, silly season, whatever you want to call it, has always been kind of predictable. And this year's really thrown a wrench in all those plans. And, I mean, it doesn't help when you have COVID-19 kind of shuffling the deck too, because NASCAR can't really release their schedule next season because they don't know what they're going to be able to do in February, March with the current conditions of the world. So that plays a factor in it too. And it's just all crazy, man. And like I said, I'd love to hear your thoughts on today's breaking news. If there's any updates to the situation, we will try to upload a video as quickly as possible. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Mitchell Does Sports. That you can guarantee an update as quickly as possible. Twitter, MitchellB66. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Like this video if you liked it. And I want to know other people's thoughts on this, because it's easy for me just to search Twitter, but I like to see some comments in that comment section below. It's just going off about what you guys think of all of these moves that are going on in NASCAR right now. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and thanks for tuning in. I've been Mitchell Breuer.